Hello and welcome to another My NTND marriage video. I wanted to talk about something I've tried today to build connection with my partner, and that is bubble baths. In the beginning, I couldn't get him to so much as have a shower with me, even though the very first time we did the funky we had a shower afterwards and hooked up in the shower. But that was sort of the only time. After that, I couldn't get him to shower with me. I couldn't get him to do much of anything with me. In fact, there used to be times that I'd be like changing in the bathroom next to him. You know, various stages of undress, from completely undressed to bra and undies or lingerie, pajamas, whatever. And he just didn't even acknowledge that I was there, so it was kind of interesting. It was like I didn't have a sexuality. I was not a sexual being. I was just this thing beside him that he wasn't really paying attention to. So it was sort of kind of disconcerting at the start. Most guys I know, you kind of walk past them naked and they're like, woo, woo, nudity. And my husband was like brushing his teeth in the mirror and I'm next to him and he's completely not paying me any mind. So in the beginning we didn't have that connection. We didn't have baths together or showers or anything like that. In the middle years we were far too busy fighting to even go there. So how it came about was sort of when we moved into this place, to celebrate our acquisition of the house, we had a bubble bath with some champagne together. So in this bubble bath we sort of cheers each other, you know, well done to us, we've got a property, a house, an abode. And we sat in that bath sort of talking about plans and such. And so then it sort of grew from there to maybe once a year, to a few times a year, to what it is now where it might be once a month, especially in the winter, less so in the summer because we're not having baths so much in the summer. It's quite hot here, baths are hot, so we don't tend to have them that often in the summer. But when we do have them, they are relatively platonic. There's not a whole lot of flirting and anything of a sexual nature going on. It's really just sort of two friends kind of sitting in a spa, you know, without the spa. And so we'll sit with a bottle of wine, some glasses, and we'll drink and chat. And sometimes the chats are really cool, and other times we're actually arguing like it's kind of goofy to think about, but we'll get in the bath and something will be said that would trigger us. So for example, how my husband said to me, I thought you'd be jealous of that lady he's crushing on, not his words, I thought you'd be jealous of her, says her name, because she's prettier than you. So he says that remark, takes me years to sort of really move on from that. And we're in the bath and he'll say something like, you're pretty. And in my mind I'm thinking, but not as pretty as her. You know, so you get that kind of hurt, sort of triggered response. And I ended up saying to him once, well, if I don't find her attractive and she's prettier than me, then by that definition I would be unattractive. And then he'd be in a huff because I ruined his compliment, which is fair enough. But at the same time, I'm triggered. It would have been better for me and him if he'd not even bothered with that compliment and just not said it, because I was still not over that particular situation or that hurt. So you can see in that situation, sitting in a bathtub with him, it got pretty frosty, you know. But we would just kind of move on, change the subject, Sometimes we've fallen asleep in the bathtub, and it's perfect because we kind of mesh with each other and sort of hold each other up so that we don't fall under the water and drown. So we've fallen asleep in the bath. We've had nice conversations in the bath and awful conversations in the bath. But it's a nice sort of place for us to come together and sit and relax with no interruptions, nothing else going on, and we might sit there for, say, half an hour. That being said, of course, when the children were younger, they would come in and out and chat to us and stuff and want to hop in and play with the bubbles and things, and that's all right, family affair, good on it. It's still he and I kind of having that undivided attention. And in fact, even the last time that he went hunting, he came up to me and said, "Would you like a bath with me?" That's probably the first time he's ever said that, so I was pretty blown away. I was pretty impressed. And I knew that it would be he and I sitting in the bathtub talking about his weekend down to the finest detail. And I didn't mind. I sat there with my vino, listening to him talk about how he went up the hill and down the hill, and he looked for the stream, and then it was sunset, and then they had to walk home in the dark, and you know, all these kind of interesting activities that he'd undertaken for that weekend. But it was just nice, sort of just sitting there, even though it was kind of a one-sided conversation. I wasn't there, I can't really participate. I can ask questions and things. But it was still nice of him to want to do that and to have that time talking with me about how his weekend went. Usually we'll talk about an outing that we've got coming up, or something to do with the children and their reports, or a plan we're thinking of doing with the house, how his work is going, how my work is going, just sort of random things like that. Nothing too dramatic, nothing deep, nothing sort of controversial. We try to steer away from the controversial comments. But we just have that nice time sitting in the bath together for about a half an hour, drinking some wine and talking. So that's something that we're doing at the moment to help build our connection. And it has sort of got a more frequent and more improved as the years have gone by. And it's just kind of a nice thing to do. It's just friendly. Just sitting there with a companion and just chatting. So as I said, it's not romantic or sexual or anything like this. It's just kind of two mates sitting and talking. And I do feel blessed because I know that a number of people on the spectrum are not really big chatters. So I'm glad that my husband will hop in a bath with me and we chat. That being said, I don't even think I'd really mind if the two of us sat there and hardly spoke. It's still just a nice time of us two together. And sometimes we'll do nice things like I'll put some salts or some scrub on his back and scrub his back, and then he'll scrub my back and things like that. Isn't there a saying about that? If you scrub my back, I'll scrub yours. Anyway, so we do things like that, and that's kind of nice as well. But anyway, that's something that we do together, that I've instigated to try and build some semblance of connection with the two of us. Let me know below, have you done something like this? Would a bath work in your case? Would it end up in World War III? Or do you think that it might start off a bit awkward and get better as time goes by? Comment below, love to hear from you, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really do appreciate it.